welcome. Studio125 Multimedia Complex. This is your local artist highlight. I am your host, J.R King. I'm honored to sit here today with our highlighted guest. He's a previous basketball star, a lead guitarist, a musician, a minister of music, a father, a grandfather. We welcome to Studio125, Mr. Raymond Pearson.
Raymond Eugene Pearson.
How you doing today, Mr.
I'm
Pearson?
doing fine. You?
All right. First of all, I'd like to start off by congratulating you on all your major accomplishments thus far.
Thank you.
I went through your bio. It's a long list.
It's long.
Jack of all trades. You done been through it and all. And that's what we're here to talk about today. We'll talk about the guy behind the guitar. Who's the man behind that lead guitar? So I want to start out, just where are you from? Where were you born?
I'm originally from New Jersey. I was born in Asbury Park. I lived in Englishtown, New Jersey, which is a historical town. I moved from there in the 4th grade, 5th grade, and I went to Somerset, New Jersey, Franklin Township, where I was reared there with 11 brothers and sisters. Also, I went to grade school all the way up through high school in Franklin Township. And that was in Somerset, New Jersey.
Okay, in Somerset, that's where you became a star in basketball, if I'm not mistaken.
I was also a star basketball player as well as a star musician.
Right.
So
you, at the same time you was a basketball star, you was part of a band called The Essence of Power?
Yes, sir. We started in the 8th grade.
Right.
The first time I ever performed, they put me in the papers, and that's all it took. And then I was mentored. And I would literally go play a basketball game, play the game, come back home on the bus, get off the bus, walk down the corridor to the gym, walk up on the stage, and then pick up my guitar and start playing.
Bad man. So let's just talk about your accomplishments as a basketball star in high school. All conference, all county, MVP, and team captain. You was a top 12 basketball player.
I was one of the top 12 basketball players to come out of Central Jersey in 1975.
Bad man.
Right.
A bad man. So around that time, I read that you won a talent search that was hosted by Bill Cosby.
I was a basketball player. I got a scholarship to go to school. So I went to school. I went to a school in West Virginia, Glenville State. And one of my best friends went to North Carolina, Barber Scotia, which is a HBCU school. That's the school I graduated from. I got there, and Bill Cosby at the time was having Catch a Rising Star, which is pretty big back then.
Right.
So basically, I entered the talent show, and I won the talent show.
Okay. So let's talk about what led you into the guitar. Why the guitar?
I had an uncle.
Right.
His name is, we call him Uncle Bay. His name was Bay Hayes.
Okay.
And he lived in New Jersey, Englishtown, New Jersey. And the actual place was Jamesburg Road. And when I was a little boy, he used to sit down and play.
Okay.
And every weekend, we were family reared. On my mother's side and my father's side, we were all pretty much together. So we was reared by each grandmother, each both uncles on the father's side, on the mother's side. So we would go on the weekends, they would cook fish. He would be playing his guitar.
Right.
And it never dawned on me. And my father, he worked on his cars, and he brought my brother a guitar. God rest his soul. The brother I'm next to, I was the baby boy. He was the next one.
Right.
And anyhow, it was an acoustic guitar, and it had 2 strings. And I would sit there and watch him fix the car, and I'll just strum on the strings. But he never said nothing. And you get out of here, boy. You make, what we talking about.
Yeah.
And I just kept strumming on strumming. He never said nothing. So he said to me, my mom said, "What do you want for Christmas?" I said, "I want a guitar." So they went out and bought me a silver tone guitar from Sears. That's the guitar that you put in the case and the amplifier.
Right.
And so I got on that thing. I started playing. And I started doing, first thing was Chicken Strut. First song. Chicken Strut was the first song I learned. And then that was through grade school. So when I got into the middle school, which is it's called Samson G. Smith, they had a talent show. So actually, me and some guys got together and we played the talent show. And when we played the talent show, we did chicken strut. And so we had royal blue pants, red ruffle shirt. I mean, that was what was going on back then. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we played, we won the talent show, and then they put my picture in the papers. And when I saw that, that's what happened.
That was it.
That was it.
And that started everything.
Yeah. And what happened with that is that we grew up around Parliament, Funkadelic, Kool and the Gang, all of them. We actually played in bands with they not with in bands. Our band played with their brother's band. They would start little bands up because they wanted to keep everything going. Right. So that's how that happened. And plus, we had excellent musicians who mentored us. Right. And we would just like go to parks, and I was a dancer too, so I could dance. And we would play and watch them play. And man, that's when Archie Bell come out with Tighten Up and all of that stuff. Them cats was bad. And actually, while we're on that, actually I lived in the era with the people who changed the whole music industry of the world to today. That was the Kool and the Gang, New Birth. That was Parliament Funkadelics. That was Funkadelic. And we played with, around there. I traveled from 13 years old till I graduated from a high school in Central Jersey. And the mentors was a group called the Teachers Plus Three. And what they were professional instructors, teachers at the high school, on the high school level, and they got together. They all played different. They all played different instruments, and they put together a band called Teachers Plus Three, which was one of the hottest bands in Central Jersey. And also with them, it was a band called Exit 9. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm just going to give you this so you can understand the quality of musicians. You're from Georgia, right. So I know you know the Voltage Brothers.
I never heard of them.
Voltage Brothers is one of the most dynamic, sought out cover bands in the whole nation. They play for the White House. They play for presidents. They play for Georgia. Actually, they live in Decatur right now. Okay. But they originated out of Rochester, New York. And so when they came into Franklin Township. That was my township. So they came into a town of music. I mean, like real accomplished musicians, young accomplished musicians. Mm-hmm. And I used to watch them. And the bass player, his name was Rudy Meeks. And I used to look at him and see the way he performed and see the way they performed. Mm-hmm. They were so good until that once they started playing, you would be like, oh my God. I mean, you couldn't dance. You couldn't do nothing because they were so good and the music was so constant. Well, I was around them and those cats helped mentor me. And so that happened in high school and grade school where we would go and all of them would be playing. These were the premier bands of Central Jersey at the time. And it went, one thing led to another.
Okay. Well, along your journey, you had a chance to meet some amazing people, some amazing stars. Yeah. I read from Jay Leno to just all kind of different people, but the one that stood out the most to me, and the one that I would like to ask if you had any stories about, one of my personal favorites was Gregory Hines.
Okay, Gregory Hines.
Yeah.
When they first started the ACC championship, I guess it was March Madness. Right. They actually started one year, I think, in Chapel Hill, and then they moved to the Charlotte Coliseum. Okay. With that being said, I had dropped out of school. I had went back to school. I had graduated, and I was on the stage, and I was playing Down Home Blues with one of Charlotte's most premier singers. Yeah. And I was on the stage, and I was playing Down Home Blues. All of a sudden, I looked up, Jay Leno, Gregory Hines, and it was at the time it was a picture with Jamie Lee Curtis came out called Blue Steel.
Yeah.
When she shot the guy in the supermarket, and her captain or lieutenant, he was the guy with the big thick beard.
Mm-hmm.
All three of those cats was together. And so I'm sitting on stage and I'm like, I'm playing. I mean, I'm smoking. The whole band is smoking.
Mm-hmm.
And I see Gregory Hines in them, and I was like, to myself, I'm like, who would ever think that I would be standing here playing and these men would walk in this door? And they walked in the door. It was called the place was called Ties.
Mm-hmm.
It was right on 7th Street in Charlotte, North Carolina. So Jay Leno, Gregory Hines, and that other guy, they went up on the balcony.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing and I was looking up, and Gregory Hines was leaning over the balcony, pointing his finger, going like this. And I'm like, look, I'm like, what the hell wrong with him? That's what I'm thinking. I'm playing. And all of a sudden, when we got done playing, he sends Jay Leno downstairs to get me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, he said, Jay Leno comes down before he blew up, Jay Leno. He said, somebody wants to meet you. I'm like, okay. So I go upstairs with him, and then I walk up to Gregory Hines, and he looks at me. He says, what's your name? And I told him my name, but me being a salesman, A, you always looking. B, you always closing. C, you always closing the deal. So as a salesman, I pull out my card and I said, my name is Raymond Pearson. I'm a car salesman. And then he looked at me and he cursed me out. I was like, he said, what in the hell are you doing selling damn cars when your ass should be all over the world playing? And he didn't know why I chose that. The reason why I chose that is because I had a daughter. I chose my children over a career of playing. And so we got to talking. He said, you really need to be in Coliseums playing. That's what he told me. And then what happened after that, he came down to sing a song with us because he was that impressed.
Gregory Hines came down to sing with you?
Came and sung with us. Oh, and I'm sitting here on stage. I'm like, who the hell would ever think that, that would happen to me?
Yeah.
So
if it was anybody I could sit down and have a conversation with, Gregory Hines most definitely would be one of those guys.
Yeah. And what I liked about him, he was humble and he was about us.
Right. Yes. Yeah. He most definitely was. So out of all the stars that you met, who would have been your favorite?
The favorite star that I met would be Stevie Wonder. And the reason why was because he was so humble. Actually, I was in Georgia when the Jim Crow laws came back up. You had to revote the Jim Crow laws.
Right.
I was actually playing there. I played with Andrew Jackson, Jesse Jackson, Andrew Powell. Everybody was there. Stevie Wonder was there. And I said, man, I got to meet him. And when I got to him, was a bunch of people around him. And he was sitting in his limo. And the guard wouldn't let me go through. I said, man, just let me meet him, right? And he said, let him through. So the guard let him through. I said, man, listen, I play your songs all the time. You're one of my most favorite artists. And I said, I appreciate you letting me get an opportunity to meet you. I assure you, when I go, I play your songs.
Right.
And I said, I could not let you we're here this close to me and not meet you. Yeah. And we talked a second and he got in the limo. He had to leave.
That's what's up right there. Now let's come to the present day. Would you tell the people about this very large project that you've been working on for over 6 years with over 294 songs attached to it?
The Raemon Project is a conception that is not about me. It's the ability of me to empower people in their craft. If you're a singer, you can sing with me. If you're a keyboard player, you can play with me. If you're a bass player, you can play with me. It's designed to uplift other musicians and give them an opportunity to get out and do something. When the pandemic came, okay, I made a choice. I said I could sit here and not do nothing, or I can study what I do and learn and take this negative and turn it into a positive. So I sat down, I built the studio in my own home. I got one in my home. And I sat down and I recorded all of these songs. And most of these songs that was recorded has been done in the last 2 years. Mm. I play each part, I mix it down, and I actually done 2 CDs. But what I wanted to do with that is I wanted to turn around and expound on some things that's inside of me. It made me a total better musician because I had to be disciplined enough to have to listen to every part and learn that part. Mm-hmm. So it learned me to be in the pocket. It learned me to play less. It learned me to play more. It learned me to be ingenuitive. It learned me to be extravagant out there. And through the process, I had to develop my voice to sing as well, because I would try to get people to come out and sing for me. But everybody knows, and you would know, and by you being a business owner, you know that everybody don't see things the way you see it. Everybody don't do things the way you do it.
Most people don't.
Yeah. So when you leave somebody in your studio, they're not going to be ethical. They're not going to be moral to what your standard is. They can actually come and try to meet you at your standard, but nobody's standard or nobody is higher in standard than your perception of you in your standard. Hmm. So I learned that I'm a meticulous, I'm a perfectionist. When I do something, I try to do it right. So as a result, with the Raemon Project, the business cards, can you pass me the CDs if you will, please? My thing to people is nobody can stop you. Nobody should be able to stop you from attaining none of your goals. If you have to find your work, God has given us a work, and that work should be expounded on and worked diligently to accomplish your vision. You can't do it by yourself, but you got to keep doing it. Now, what I mean by that is, this is I've always wanted to do an album at first, but when the pandemic came, I decided I wanted to do an album. You know how long it took me? It took me 2 weeks. I decided I want to do a second album. It took me 1 week. But the moral of the story is, because you have to become a multifaceted person. You got to be able to do a little bit of everything. Now, my latest goal in the Raemon Project is I'm actually learning how to play keyboards.
Okay.
So now all my songs pretty much is I'm playing the keyboards. So I know that I have to get better at that. So I work at it. For my people who are listening and going to hear this interview, you are a product of your own time. Time is your most valuable asset. When you use your time correctly, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. As you notice, my interview here was at 3 o'clock. What time was I here?
A little bit before 2.
And I'm out of Lawrence, South Carolina. When I do a gig, I am there at least 2 or 3 hours early so I can make sure everything is in place.
That's right.
So once I start playing, it's there. Now, the Raemon Project was built from the ground up. It was built from the music to the marketing. I've done the marketing. I've built the traveling van. Everything is in coordinations with this. Cards, pictures, as you see, everything has been done and structured in such a way that it's already been marketed. So when you get the Raemon Project, you don't get inconsistency. You get quality. You get professionalism. Okay. Okay. So what that means to you, customers, uh, people who are watching this interview. If you're a club owner or a bistro or a dinner or a wedding or a reception, and you hire the Raemon Project, what you're going to get is excellence. You're going to get professionalism. I'm going to be there on time. I'm going to communicate with you. When everything is said and done, everything will be in place at the time you need it, and it will be done the right way.
That's all you can ask
That's
for.
all you can ask for.
That's all you can ask for.
And I'm reasonable.
And that's the most important part.
He asked me about favorite songs that you could go to and listen to. Actually, to be honest with you, everything I do is my favorite.
That's how you supposed
Or
to
I
feel.
wouldn't do it.
That's how you supposed to feel.
And when
Everything
you
is the best.
and when you get and go on my page, I challenge you to go on there and take a long ride and sit back and listen. I guarantee you, you will love it.
Okay.
Because it's made for you, not for me.
All right. Well, speaking of the Raemon Project and the albums that you have in your hand, won't you tell the good folks how can they find your music?
I am located on YouTube. RAYZ, the letter Z, 12able on YouTube. Raymond Pearson, the Raemon Project. I have over almost 400 videos. You can actually see me playing live, as well as the songs. Also, the Raemon Project has a Facebook page called the Raemon Project. Pretty much, you will get a chance to go on and look at my analytics, and you will see that I'm on YouTube as a local musician. I have almost 53,000 views. They're listening to my music, whether I put anything on Facebook or not, almost 50 hours a month.
That's amazing.
The only thing that I need for you to do for me is to subscribe to my page.
Right.
I need to get the next level I need to get to is 1,000 subscribers. I've already attained the views. I've already attained the hours.
Right.
Only thing that's keeping me from being able to go forward is the subscriptions. Now, with that being said, any musician, any singer, anybody that's out there, whether you go to a karaoke page or whatever it is, if you go to my page and there's a song out there that you like that you can sing, take it, sing it.
That's right.
That's my gift to you. Sing it. Because if you get out there and use it, that's not going to do nothing but uplift me, uplift my views so I can help more people.
Most of us don't look at it like that.
That's how I look at it.
You know, each one teach one. I reach down to help you, you reach down to help me.
And with the Raemon Project, I would be less than a man. I would be less than a musician to not include the people who help me. Most of all, the person who critiques my stuff, who listens to my stuff, who tells me what I need to do is my sweetheart, Miss Jane Veronica Alexander Young. And she is brilliant. She is, when I first met her, I didn't want to get nothing wrong. And I didn't want to judge her. I wanted to love her for who she was and how she is. This is the blueprint. Don't have a girlfriend or a woman for who you want her to be. Have and love her for herself. Let her be her. Love her for her meanness.
Wait a minute. Say that again for them.
Okay.
Repeat that one more time.
If you got a girlfriend or a significant other, spend your time trying to love her, not what you want her to be. If she's a B, let her be one. Love her for that. Because guess what? That woman is going to take all of that when it comes to supporting you and protecting you. She's going to use it to protect you. the woman, the African American, black, indigenous woman
Our
is the
queens
powerfulest person on the planet.
on the planet.
And if you have one and she's old school and she's been reared in old school, you will be crazy as bleak to not incur her in your life. This person, it took me 3 to find her. And when I take my last breath, it's going to be with her.
Okay.
I don't care what you look like. I don't care how good you think it is.
Okay.
It's not going to be better than what I already got. And where I go, she go.
See, what our people need to realize is forget Valentine's Day.
Forget that. That's every day.
This is love right here.
And,
you hear this, man?
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You hear this man, how he's talking. I need to listen to these words.
And when you look at the Raemon Project behind the scenes, when you don't see what I'm doing, right? What you're going to see is this is her work. She makes sure that this is done. She makes sure that it's printed out. She makes sure that I have everything I need to perform, and I don't have to worry about that. So with that being said, so you don't think I'm rambling, I thank her for everything that she has done for me, everything that she is doing for me, and everything that she will do for me in the future.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And you know what? That's one of the most beautiful things I ever saw somebody do live. That was very heartfelt. I can feel it over here. Mm-hmm. You mean every word that you said. I also found my queen, and I feel the same way about her. Going on 14 years right now, and I want to replace her for the world.
Period.
She had my back through thick and thin. Even had my front sometimes. You know, right. When I can't see it for myself, she's there to see it for me. So I understand exactly what you mean.
Right.
And it's critical for any man out there. You know, if you look back at any of the greats that we've witnessed so far, Martin Luther, Malcolm, all of them had their queens. You know, it wouldn't be Martin without Coretta. You know?
Right.
You know, you need that rock in your life.
Right.
And when you find it, you hold on to it. It's gonna be hard sometimes. It's gonna be up, it's gonna be down. But at the end, it's worth it. So we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay.
You have been an amazing guest. I appreciate you for coming.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how the ride home is going to be with all the stuff that you done said. It's going to be some good embracing on the ride home.
There's a whole lot of little dips and doolies down there in them back roads.
Oh, hell.
Hey, along with the seriousness, I'm a comedian too.
Right. So like I was saying, I appreciate you for what you bring to the world. Music is, to me, the one form of universal love.
Right.
Regardless of what you do and regardless of where you are, music will always break that barrier between white, black, brown, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So what you bring to the earth is needed and it's beautiful. And I love to hear that guitar strumming, man.
Before you close, I would like to present you and your wife as a token of thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come into your establishment and present to you and to the world the Raemon Project. And as a result of that, and my thanks to you is that I've brought you guys 2 of my CDs.
Okay, most definitely gonna play it. We love your music. We love what you stand for. And we love the way that you love on this lady back here. That was beautiful.
I love it.
That's a good example for the young ones right there.
When you ride, see, you make love to your woman a little bit at a time. What's making love to your woman? That's me and her riding down the highway. That's right. I'm 65.
That's right.
I'm driving the van. I'm protecting her. Baby, don't worry about it. I got you. And while I'm riding, I reach my hand over there and grab her hand and hold her hand about 30 miles while we going down the road.
That's right.
That's
love.
Thing.
That's love.
If you living with your woman and she working, when she come home, have the house clean. Wash the clothes. Pick up your dirty drawers. Put them in the hamper.
Yeah, you damn
Listen to her. If you can cook, Cook the woman a dinner.
Cook for her, damn
Go
it.
to the store, buy a $5 robe. When she
$5.
come home, and you're tired, baby, run her some bath water.
Bubble bath.
Let her have a bath water. Give her a massage.
Put a scent bomb in
Man,
that bubble
listen,
bath.
you only got one. Whatever you won't do, somebody else will. So you better make sure you do what you got to do.
Do what you gotta do. And
That's it.
And on that note,
Yes,
this has been another episode of the Studio 125 Multimedia Center Local Artist Highlight. I'm your host, J.R. King. Thank you guys again